Hello and welcome back. This is the 7th in a series of 8 short video tutorials demonstrating how Veggie Compass can be used to give small and mid-size horticultural farmers a much fuller picture of their farm finances than traditional record-keeping systems provide. Whether you actually decide to use Veggie Compass yourself is not as important as learning the concepts this tool allows us to demonstrate. These tutorials are designed to be viewed chronologically in order, so if you've stumbled into the middle, you'll want to go back and start at the beginning. We are now ready to take a look at the sales output sheet full of calculations that Veggie Compass has made for us based on information entered in the expenses input sheet, the sales input sheet, and the production input sheet. This spreadsheet is also quite wide, as you can see here. This is where you get to learn which crops are making the most money, which crops are a drain on your finances, and how each crop performs depending on the market channel. As before, your crops and their units are listed in the first 2 columns. The next columns are grouped and color-coded by market channel. For each market channel, there are 9 columns of data. The first 3 are familiar, coming straight off the sales input sheet. They are sales, units sold, and average unit price. Next comes unit cost of production, which is pulled from the previous sheet. This is the production cost per unit grown, again, before general management and marketing. You'll notice that the unit cost is consistent across the market channels. That's because we don't have different growing practices for different markets. Only when the general management and market channel costs come in might the unit price be affected and be different from one channel to the next. Now we start seeing some new information. In the next column, crop cost of production, we learned the total amount of what it costs us to produce. That is, to grow, harvest, and pack a particular crop for each market channel. Next is crop gross profit, defined as sales minus crop cost of production as a percentage of sales. Gross profit is what is left after production costs have been subtracted from your sale price. This gross profit figure is what you can now use to pay for general management, market channel costs, and hopefully your profits. A general benchmark for this number is 40%. Most likely, in a healthy farm business, a gross profit of 40% and higher will mean profitability. Now we come to a powerful set of figures, the total crop cost column. It is defined as the unit cost of production plus market channel specific expenses plus general management and admin expenses, thus all costs for this crop. Remember, we have some expenses that are specific to a market channel, and remember we had some general management expenses that we haven't yet seen applied to our costs. Now this finally gets considered, and here is a grand total figure, one that takes every expense into account. To make a profit, you need to get at least this much money for your crop. If you have been truly rigorous and accounted for every expense, including your own labor, any price you charge over this unit price will be absolute profit. If, on the other hand, you did not include your salary, what you charge over this is not profit until you have paid yourself. You need a salary to pay your living expenses, but you need a profit to reinvest in your business and to start saving for the time when your back won't let you farm anymore. Okay, back to Veggie Compass. It is this total crop cost by market channel that gives you the power to negotiate with wholesale buyers and the resolve to set your farmers market and CSA prices so that you come out ahead and actually make a profit. The 8th column in the series is unit net profit. This is what is left over after the total crop cost is met. It is straight profit on each unit. For example, Every pound of broccoli I sell via my CSA channel loses me $4.95. And for every crate of heirloom tomatoes I sell, I make $12.11 in profit. The 9th column is how much net profit or loss you are making for each crop in total in that market channel. The final set of columns is labeled total sales, and that gives you the final profitability numbers for each of your crops across all the channels. For me, when I get a price that matches total crop cost, it's already covering my salary, healthcare expenses, and even retirement payments. Anything beyond that is thus available to put back into the business, like raising wages or building a new packing shed. But I also need a profit to pay for my son's education and things like a new roof on my house. Again, I remind you that if you did not include in the expense input sheet a salary, healthcare, and retirement for yourself, please remember to do that before you go off buying that fancy tractor you've been wanting. So in these last 2 columns, we can look down the list of crops to easily see which crops are profitable or not. Anything above 0 is a definite winning crop. Anything negative is a loser. On my sheet, seeing broccoli, green beans, and onions being so negative, being real money losers, begs the question, why grow broccoli, green beans, and onions? With onions, we're just going to have to do more research and find out what we're doing wrong. We aren't ready to just drop them without understanding the issue. Is it a yield problem? Is it that we are inefficient with labor in either the production or harvest and pack stage? Should we be charging more? Could we be charging more? With broccoli, the answer is that we know we had a terrible season this year. We've had better years and expect broccoli to do better in the upcoming season, but we still think it doesn't have much chance of being a really profitable crop. We will grow less and focus on having enough for CSA only, so they have the variety expected of a CSA share. Green beans just don't do well at all for us anymore. But also, we know that the cost to produce beans is high because they're a crop that take a lot of ground. As you may recall from an earlier tutorial, the percentage of ground it takes to produce a crop is used to allocate overhead and non-crop specific costs to each crop. We will grow almost no green beans next year, just enough for maybe 3 weeks of CSA. But still, I have to realize that when green beans are paying less of the general management and non-crop specific costs, all of our other crops will have to take on those costs. This would result in reducing the profitability of all other crops, but increasing our overall farm profitability. And notice how some crops may be profitable in one market channel and not in another. Look at the profit on each head of lettuce we sold at our farmer's market of 34 cents versus each head of lettuce we sold through our wholesale channel of negative 12 cents. You can easily see that in the farmer's market channel, our total crop cost, when considering all marketing channel expenses plus the production, harvest, and pack expense, is $2.66. We charged $3 a head, as you can see here, and that means we are making a profit. But go to the wholesale channel and you can see that our total crop cost, when considering all the marketing channel expenses plus the production, harvest, and pack expenses, is $2.12. By charging only $2 a head, it's easy to see that we're charging less than it's costing us to grow. It sure doesn't make sense to grow lettuce for my wholesale channel. But let's look at what happens when we consider how the number of heads we sold through each market channel affects profitability in total. There's $1,023 of profit through the farmer's market channel versus really only losing $60 through the wholesale channel. So while we're surely losing money wholesaling lettuce, it's really not very much because we didn't sell that many heads through that channel. Let's look at the chart example again. On the previous sheet, we learned that our cost to grow and harvest chard was $2.06 per bunch. I know that I sell it for $3 a bunch at the market, and thus figured it must turn out to be a profitable crop. But looking across line 18, we can see that once chard takes on general management and marketing costs, it becomes a money-losing crop, no matter what channel. Wow, I just hadn't realized before how much those general farm costs would impact the profitability of my crops. Before we move on to the final sheet in Veggie Compass, take a look at line 107 for some interesting totals. This gives a grower a very quick look at the gross and net profits for each market channel. Again, having a gross profit over 40% is desirable, so a grower using this tool can easily see if that goal is being met in each market channel. As you see here, before general management and marketing costs were added, our gross profits looked okay across all the market channels. But our roadside stand suddenly is not looking good when we see the total net profit figures. We had a gross profit on the stand of 45%, above the benchmark, but somehow our net profit is negative. What happened between gross and net? Net is when general management and marketing costs are accounted for. On my farm, the roadside stand market channel has very high labor costs compared to the income it generates. That's what tipped the balance from what appeared to be a profitable market channel to a money-losing market channel. We'll talk about this roadside stand situation more fully in the next tutorial. In our final tutorial coming up, we'll move away from talking specifically about crops and talk about profit and loss by market channel. See you soon.